Today, we're going to be talking about the great showdown between AR, VR, Oculus versus Apple. Who wins the future of AR and VR? Let's find out. I just want to help you out, make sure that you make a good decision. Maybe you're a consumer and you're looking at this as a way to elevate experiences for friends and families as you're entertaining. Maybe you're a developer, you're looking to jump into this. This is an ecosystem you're ready to spend all your time on to build to get the traction that you want. I hope that this will help you make a better decision. So here's a quick product overview. Apple Vision Pro is a mixed reality headset with both augmented reality and virtual reality. Now we have the Quest ecosystem. There's multiple offerings here that help facilitate augmented reality and virtual reality experiences. So literally, these two product lines from Apple and Meta are directly competing with each other. All right, so what is that design and hardware side? When you buy an Apple product, you're getting quality. At the hardware level, due to that control, Apple's definitely going to have uh, a much better feel and quality of experience than that of the Meta Quest Pro. It's going to be something that you just want to grab and play with. You're going to be like, I love this thing. Look at this. Another thing you got to think about when you're looking at these things from an investment side, is this ecosystem something that you're ready to jump into? Is this ecosystem something you could depend on? And something that I always look at when it comes to these ecosystems, I'm biased with this, is that it's a developer ecosystem. How satisfied are those developers and how satisfied is it the customers? And right now, something that's missing with the Apple Vision Pro is those two specific things. Who are the developers and who are the customers? How happy are they? We've seen that Meta, throughout its generation of devices, has a substantial library that is open and inclusive, accessible for everybody to jump into. You can go ahead as a developer. You have so much tooling that's available to you to go ahead and develop some cool stuff, AR and VR. I've done some projects for like conferences and stuff, developing and things like with Unity. But see, that's one area that as a developer, I'm not in love with Apple. It's just so close. I have to really depend on their tools. And if they decide that they're not going to support this thing anymore, what am I going to do? If this was a business decision, if I had to choose, if I had a customer in front of me, I would want to know what the business use case is. If the business use case is to be open and inclusive, right away, Apple's not going to be in my recommendation. So think about all those CTOs out there. They're going to be communicating with product leaders in regards to what they should be standardizing for development roadmap ahead. They're going to be looking at the ecosystem, the cost to deploy and develop, and they're going to make sure that this product matches their business use case needs. And that's something to be cautious about. That's something that's going to take time, and just be cautious as you move ahead with Apple Vision Pro when it comes down to the business use case. You want to match them to your needs, right? I'm not saying that it doesn't have a place. I think Apple Vision Pro is going to be an amazing product. I swear, I really do. I think it's going to be amazing. And I don't believe that this version, the Apple Vision Pro that they have right now, I think that it's out of reach for most people. For the everyday user, no, I would not recommend it. Too expensive. The accessibility is just not there. Just the cost friction alone limits people to take the risk to find out if they're going to enjoy this thing. See, MetaQuest did such a good job with their Quest 2. $299, you can get this unit. It's easy to jump into. It's a small risk that you take in regards to potential great time to have family entertainment, where you're not getting that with Apple Vision Pro. Now, will people buy it? Absolutely. People will buy it. But the adoption rate is, I believe fully, the adoption rate is going to suffer due to the pricing. It's just not accessible. I'm thinking that Apple Vision, made for the consumer, is going to be a much more affordable device than the Apple Vision Pro. That's something to probably think about, is that maybe that this is done on purpose. The release is all about getting developer support. This is all about building a developer ecosystem. And the real device, probably not coming until 2025 or 2026. I don't know. I'm just like assuming on this. Let's talk about those displays real quick. Something I've heard a lot about these displays is just how vivid and amazing these screens are. I can't wait. This is one thing I'm definitely excited on, because by wearing glasses and playing around with AR, a lot of times I end up feeling dizzy and I just want to take the unit off. All sweat, or there's always some discomfort happening from the eyes to the weights on my head. And this concerns me because I'm like, there's a large portion of the audience that if they're not going to get a good experience right out of the box, that's going to be the experience they're going to think about all the time when it comes down to these devices. And if you have to go get custom tailored to fit this device to make it fit you, that's going to be friction that's not going to allow adoption. So these are things that we have to think about. But I do want to share with you, Apple Vision Pro has dual displays, and they're claiming better than 4K resolution. That's for each eye. You need this to be as frictionless as possible, and those displays need to be magnificent. Nobody wants to get dizzy and have headaches from playing in these things. But unfortunately, the accessibility is just not there, not at the price point that it's at right now. Even with these amazing screens at 4K, I just cannot, for the life of me, recommend to the average person to run down and buy an Apple Vision Pro. I just can't do it. It's not a good recommendation. Is it worth the substantial price difference when it comes to application support? No, this is going to be a bottleneck for Apple. This is going to be a big bottleneck, and I can't wait. I think I'm going to learn some new things. I'm watching. My ears are open. I'm looking. I'm going to participate so I can actually learn what's going on with the product development side of Apple. Why is this important now? Or what's going to happen next? Let's talk about the power and battery. So Apple Vision Pro features a dedicated M2 processor. We're going to get that same chip that's in desktop right there in the Apple Vision Pro. I'm confident when I say that I'm going to be very satisfied with the performance of Apple Vision Pro, and I know you will too. When it comes down to Meta Quest, they're using very similar cell phone Snapdragon chipsets, offering a very similar battery life as Apple and Meta. Like, they're both very similar. The Qualcomm Snapdragon, hey, it's a great chip. It's a great chip. I'm actually a little bit more excited about the M2 processor dedicated on Apple Vision Pro. I can't wait. I want to tap into it. Another reason why I'm getting it, this is the problem with being a software developer, a season one, you just want to play with everything. Okay, let's get into it. So content and use cases. Apple Vision Pro supports productivity apps, FaceTime, video calls, 3D photos, videos, and runs on top of a ported iOS for games and Apple Arcade. Meta has been doing this for a significant amount of time. This isn't their first product. They're on what I would consider to be third gen products of services, where Apple, this is their first gen. They haven't done this before. This is the big red flag for me, is they're pushing out during a time that's actually quite interesting economically. I honestly think this thing's going to pop, okay? I'm just being real. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm scared with it. What's going to happen? Let me show it to you. Let me show you. Why am I scared? Why am I scared? Okay, right here, you can just tell on my screen. Look at this. Look at this. I have this simple comparison between Meta and Apple. Meta, several product generations. I told you, I've seen this many times. This is what I consider to be their third gen products and services for this lineup. To whereas Apple, it's its first generation of services. Meta has a social network. Apple does not. Apple's social network is just not there. To me, Apple is slow to the party. And they don't have their appropriate social network. I know that they're going to try potentially starting one with this. It only makes sense, the metaverse and so forth, which let's get into that. So Meta has an established developer ecosystem with an established metaverse with a vast library of games and apps. It's open, affordable, and accessible. Let's go over to Apple. It's a first-gen developer ecosystem. Remember, Apple's been around for a while. They definitely understand software and hardware support. But when it comes down to AR and VR, this is their first product. This is their first one. The developers are just getting started, right? I know there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to be starting up new businesses, startups and ideas and so forth coming to Apple AR, VR, but they're just not there yet. And so it's going to be a limited lineup. This is a first-gen developer ecosystem, and I would expect that it's going to be lackluster. It's a first-gen metaverse. It has a limited library of games and apps. Hey, it's close, expensive, and out of reach. This is a problem. This is a very big problem. So when it comes down to a risk analysis for Apple AR, VR, it's late to the party. It costs. It's just too freaking high. Too high. That cost and being late to the party is going to affect adoption. That's going to affect adoption, development platform. Nobody's even talking about this. When I made my first VR app, I utilized Unity. I actually canceled my membership and stopped using Unity because they changed their terms of service that went against developers. And we said, nope, we're going to ditch this. We're going to go to things like Unreal Engine. I don't want to spend any more time in an ecosystem I can't trust. Unity lost developers' trust. And since Apple is dedicating themselves to supporting with Unity during a time when developers are escaping their ecosystem, you can count that the development platform is going to suffer a bit, which also will affect its adoption. Just saying. The risk analysis for this, 4 key risks: late to the party, cost, the adoption, and lackluster development platform, at least right now. All right. So the overall verdict on this, hey, both headsets target professional users and early adopters. Apple Vision Pro offers advanced features and compatibility with iOS and Mac services, but at a significantly higher price. Meta's Quest Pro provides core functionalities at a much lower price. Audiences are willing to invest in Apple's more expensive headset if uncertain, right? They're both fantastic devices, but please be careful. If you're going to go ahead and, I don't know, let's say you're playing in stocks, you're like, hey, I want to invest in Apple. They're coming out with the Vision Pro. It's going to the moon. I would say hold on to your money, hold tight, wait for the launch, see what happens. If it's amazing and you love it and you're confident, do whatever you want. I'm just saying, maybe wait and see. Hey, it's so much fun hanging out with you here. Hey, I'm just getting started, all right? The more videos are going to come out over time. I'm going to experiment on YouTube. I'm going to have some fun. I just want to thank you so much. Thank you for spending time with me today. I hope that I informed you or enlightened you with this video. And yeah, I'm looking to connecting next time with you. Hey, hope you have a good one. Thanks again for connecting. We'll talk later. Bye.